Okay, now we are going to be working through a problem on figuring out what the discount rate is using this financial calculator. Okay, so what we have here is that a problem off of Harpett, which is basically showing us that we have, we're just going to plug it all into this basic equation. Okay, we're talking about a single lump sum here. So we have a present value here of 564.57 is equal to our future value of 717, and we have a discount rate, and that is, we're trying to see what kind of rate we need to achieve that in 2 years. Okay? Now, keep in mind here, so we have 564.57, and to get to 717, if we're holding this in account for 2 years, what kind of interest rate do I need to have? Now, of course, we can do this algebraically, and then we can take the square root of both sides and solve for r. And that's a perfectly fine way to do it, but it's a lot slower than using our time value of money functions on the calculator. Okay? So what we're going to do here is that we know we have, we'll just write all these things down. So we have n, I over y, PV, payment, and FV. Okay, so n is going to be how many? N is 2. I over y is going to be what? That's what we're solving for. Present value is going to be 564.57, but is that has to be a negative. Remember, we have to put that negative in for present value if we're having a positive future value. Payment is going to be 0, right, because there is not recurring payments that are coming, and the future value is 717. Okay? So we can just start plugging these things in, right? We have this first number here, which is 2. So 2 is our n, right? It's registered. I over y, we're skipping over that one right now because that's what we're solving for. Start that over. Right. We have 2 is n, okay? And we're solving for I over y. And then we have the 564.57 negative is going to be our present value. And why do we enter that as a negative? Because the calculator requires it. Then we also know we have a 0 payment, and we have a future value of 717. So then we hit compute I over y, and that tells us that our interest rate is going to be 12.69%. Okay? And this is one thing that we do need to keep in mind, is that it is going to tell us it in percentage terms, whereas in this formula, remember we plugged this in. If we're plugging this into this formula, it would be 0.269. Okay, 0.1269, excuse me. And that's the basic part there.